everyone, my name is Davina San and I'm a student here at Palm Beach Atlantic University in West Palm Beach, Florida. With me is Dr. Lane Cohey, and we are so excited to share with you guys the new book that he wrote, which is The Disquieted Soul, and here's our Q&A. So for our first question, you start up the chapter with a personal story about your own experience with cruel masters. What is a cruel master and what is your story about?
So a cruel master is an allegory, and it's an allegory for any coping mechanism. And my personal story was, as a young guy, I wasn't much of a partier at all. I apparently missed many parties in high school, so I'm told, studying or whatever. But as I got busier and more active in life, I started relying increasingly on alcohol just to calm down, after work, just to relax, just to reward myself. And like a lot of coping mechanisms, one drink leads to two, leads to five, and so on and so forth. And at some point, it was really a case where I was very functional. I was doing my thing, I was running 100 miles an hour, but my health was suffering, my relationships were suffering. Basically, something that I was using ultimately started using me. And that's what I mean by a cruel master.
I noticed that you redrew the diagram from chapter 2 and changed a couple of things. One of these things was to add the term identity needs. What are those?
So identity needs are critical, and they're the core needs that we wake up with when we come into this world. Needs to feel valued, like we matter and we have significance. Needs to feel secure and safe. Needs to love and to feel loved. And in the book, I list several more, like feeling meaningful, feeling worthwhile, even feeling powerful.
So how do identity needs and cruel masters fit together?
They do, and this is critical. Cruel masters always offer to meet our core identity needs. That's really the power of the cruel master. And as I say in the book, they come to us first as a kind friend with kind words, a cold cup of water on a hot day, but they leave as betrayers because they cannot ultimately satisfy our identity needs. We dance with them for a while, but then we need them more and more, and they deliver less and less. Addictions of any kind, whether they be alcohol, drugs, porn, gaming, social media, gambling, those are the obvious ones, but even things we don't think about as being addictions, like getting our value needs met through our children's accomplishments, they all exhibit the same type of behavior.
So I think I understand that cruel masters are ways that we try to get our identity needs met. But what's wrong with that, and why don't they work?
Well, to quote Tim Keller, they can't really bear the freight of our needs or our deepest needs. And so ultimately we need more than what they can deliver. And so the behavior is that we bring more and more to them, and we ask more and more out of them, and they ultimately begin to deliver less and less. So we rotate. We go from, cruel master to cruel master to cruel master, and for a while we dance with them. But after some time, they are increasingly dissatisfying.
I noticed you dedicated a section on romantic love. Why?
Romantic love is a little bit different than we might normally think about as a cruel master, but it's one of our core primal emotions. Think about all the books that have written and the poetry that's been written and the songs that have been written about love. And when we approach love, we oftentimes approach the object of our love as someone who meets and validates all of us. We bring everything to the relationship. And so there are angels, and our dreams come true, and all the songs and the song lyrics that are written, we seek our validation through them. And it's really unfair, because no matter how wonderful that person is, they simply cannot, again, bear the freight of our deepest needs. And so as we approach it, we demand more and more in order to be met more and more, and we become increasingly dissatisfied or disappointed that our love interest can't meet it and delivers less and less.
So in the end, I think you're going to tell us that cruel masters aren't really the problem, right?
Right, it's not the cruel master. In most all of these cases, the quote-unquote cruel master is something that God designed for us to bring good and healthy pleasure in our lives. The problem is when we use our cruel masters or these pleasures in, to quote C.S. Lewis in the Screw Tape Letters, the wrong time, the wrong way, and the wrong amount. And when we do this, and when we misplace these things, then when we look for our ultimate validation, when we look for our ultimate gratification, when we look for our ultimate deepest needs to be met in these things, they're always dissatisfying. They can never meet. So we bring in more and more, they deliver less and less, and ultimately we become slaves to them. But what's the problem? Is the problem them? No, the problem is us. It's really our own damaged sense of identity.